So tell me about the sound steering stuff you've built.
So we built a phased array of speakers that allow us to steer sound around the room using a microcontroller. So the input comes from just a standard audio input. In this case, we're using a cell phone or MP3 player. And it goes in first through an input amplifier to re-level the signal to 0 to 5 volts. Then it goes through an ADC and into the microcontroller.
And that's the little green board with the light on it.
Exactly. And then once it's in the microcontroller, that's where all the math is done to set the delays to of the speakers appropriately to give us the shift we want. And afterwards, it comes out to these two big chips here, which are parallel digital analog converters, or DACs. And each of those goes to drive each of those goes to drive an individual speaker amplifier, and Ed's going to explain those.
Yeah, so the speaker amplifier circuitry first starts off with a low-pass filter because the DACs aren't perfectly continuous, so you get quantization noise. So we want to filter that out so we get a smoother sinusoidal signal. Then the output of the filter then feeds through a current common collector amplifier. And for us to bias the common collector amplifier properly, we set up a bias current by putting a BJT transistor into a diode mode. That creates a reference current. We feed that through a current mirror, and then the copied current then feeds through the emitter side of the common collector amplifier. And then we just have a high-pass filter where we have a large capacitor, and then we use the resistance of the speaker to filter out the DC bias, so we center the sound.
Okay, so turn it on, and I'm going to do a walk-by on the front to show the amplitude distribution in the near field. So I'm off to the side. And there's the maximum right there. And then we lose it over here. Lose particularly all the lows. Can you go back to a single tone?
It'll take a second. I gotta set the tone generator.
So there's clearly a good maximum across the front of this array. Now I'm going to stand over to the side. Why don't you steer it over towards me? Lost the maximum.
I may have gone the other way.
I'm not getting the maximum.
Yeah, the whole thing kind of drops quieter as the frequencies cancel themselves.